All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Full Spectrum Cannabis. I am your producer, Sam, and today I'm also co-host.
Yeah, guest co-host Sam.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey, Lance, how's it going?
Well, yeah, it's a good day.
It is a good day.
You know, my eyes are a little wider than they were other days. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel a little bit more awake.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like the warmth?
I don't know if it's
Springtime
the
feel?
daylight savings, this, false spring.
But that's next week.
I know.
My wife had us convinced that it was this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
So all of us went to bed like, oh, tomorrow's going to suck. And then it just got in our heads. And now we have to do it all over again.
Did she just want some quiet?
I don't know.
It was a trick.
So tricky.
That's funny. Okay. So today we've got a guest. Do you want to introduce the guest or do you want me to?
You can.
Okay. Jared, hi.
Hello.
So
How
we've
you doing,
got,
Sam?
I'm doing well. So we've got Jared Reams. You're an attorney of some sort.
I am an attorney of some sort.
Yep. And we've verified this?
No.
Like
No,
is there-
I mean,
is
but
there
his name-
like a thing on a wall somewhere that
somewhere.
says, yeah.
I got all kinds of stuff on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever need a photo of the wall?
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should.
I got you
Maybe we
covered.
can add that into the show.
Yeah, there you
Somewhere. It's like, oh, this is for real.
Yeah. Before we start, do you ever wonder about that? Like, if you're talking to someone, they're like, "I'm a lawyer," and they got the thing on the wall, and you're like, "Did they really get that, or are they just telling me that?"
Right.
go. Usually you can figure that out pretty quick.
I think we should put some names. Let's put some names on the wall out here.
Yeah.
And then just see how many people we can get with it.
How many people notice?
Right.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
should get some stuff framed up that's clearly false.
Right.
Can you get in trouble for that?
Yes, you can.
But what if it's
Well, but as long
clearly
as you-
false?
If it's just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't say anything about it, right? Like
I'm not-
we just put names on the wall. Is you assuming? Like as long as I don't say, law practice, as long as I don't put letters behind our names, can I just put, Divine Fox Asher on a wall? Like it's on you to not figure that
Hear
out.
the answer.
I didn't tell them I was a lawyer.
Oh,
they
right.
just started talking to me about.
Right. I didn't actually do any legal work for them either. I just
Right.
got the thing on the wall.
They just started spilling their guts about how, they got a DUI and definitely they were guilty, but they need your help. And now you're a witness in the case.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you probably get in trouble for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
Okay.
I'll just keep being me then.
Right. So let's talk about your shirt. Let's
Yeah,
talk
what about
about
my
your shirt
shirt?
because they're back,
They're back.
right? They took a break.
They did. And I'm kinda sad they took-
What causes the break?
I think depression.
Depression. As other people call winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really felt.
Tommy Bahama does great in the world.
Yeah. It makes you feel good. No, I would say from about late October, early November through very recently, like just want to be in a little cave somewhere or something.
Right.
Minnesota.
I mean, the Bears have it down.
Yeah.
Not the Chicago Bears.
No.
But like the real ones.
Yeah. Real bears.
Don't slide into the DMs and get after me about the Chicago Bears
Bears?
not being the real Bears.
We don't like them anyway. Whatever. So, Jared, did you grow up in Chicago? No.
I did not. I grew up around Seattle, so I'm a Seahawks fan.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
It's a little
They had a couple-
fluorescent for me.
Yeah, it is a little bright.
Yeah.
A little showy. The color.
They're quite showy. I kind of liked it back in the day.
Yeah.
When everybody hated the Seahawks because they were too good.
They were too good for a while there.
Now they're certainly not.
Right.
So,
Well, join our little camp here, living in Minnesota.
I do cheer for the Vikings. They're my second favorite NFL team. I've got a newborn son. I know the family is going to deck him out in Vikings gear. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
He was born here.
I'd like to take this moment then to look directly into the camera and say, see, like even in a world that's so divided, we can get along. You can like two sports teams.
Yeah. Well, my question is does purple even look good on the kid? Like, don't just come on. Maybe green looks better.
Oh, I think this is a show.
Neon green.
Well,
It is- it
sure,
is- it is
you're
a
neon
bold-
green. I was
it
going
is a bold
Packers.
choice.
I was
Oh,
going
you're
Green
going
Bay
Pack- I
Packer.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No.
no, that's
No.
It's a fine.
Maybe that's why Sam was depressed
fine people.
because of the color purple.
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Not my thing. But I mean, as long as we're on it, even though this is a show about cannabis and you're here to talk law, purple was a bold choice for a team too.
Yeah.
Well, and you got the purple people eaters thing going.
Yeah.
Actually, my mom, believe it or not, despite the fact that she is a Seahawks fan, she was a huge Vikings fan back in the purple people eater days because that's her favorite color.
Yeah.
Strictly because of the color of the team.
I've never. This is going to make me a bad Minnesotan. I mean, is that why Prince liked purple so much? Did that have anything to do with it?
I think it's had something to do about the rain.
I feel
I was
feel like
thinking
it's
rain too.
I feel like it's some Vikings.
Don't you think
A
it's
little
got to?
bit.
Don't you think there's got to be something in there?
It can't be not at all.
It can't be just coincidence.
Right.
That purple was his thing coming
Right.
from the state where it's.
And he was a diehard Minnesotan too.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he
exactly.
stayed
There was
here.
some influence of that color within his life. I would, some upbringing in purple and
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe we don't have the answers here
Right.
in this studio.
No.
But I've always wondered that, and I feel like maybe asking it. There's someone out there who's a big Prince fan who's like, duh,
They're
he
gonna-
talked about it, or maybe they're like, no, he never talked about it. I have no idea.
well, they'll tell us in the comments.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Some angry person.
Right.
Right. Well, angry people in comments are the things that actually move content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah. Get angry.
At Canopy Accounting, we're not just accountants. We're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates, we provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business.
Legend Technical Services, cannabis testing and technical consulting. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state.
Do you need a legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman Buskey Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for cannabis business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman Buskey Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone. Whether you are new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge, come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals have to offer. From beverages to sleep aids and everything in between, CannaCon is the place to be.
Ara Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans. We're talking the 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. Again, that's Jake at 763-312-0177.
This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work. Get angry about
Yay,
that
humans.
we don't know anything about Prince. Not saying we don't know anything. It was just the purple thing.
Was Prince into cannabis? I feel like he was.
He was into a lot of things, I think.
Yeah.
He-
Yeah. Well,
Everything except alcohol.
Right. Yeah, he was not a drinker, right? But was that a religious thing?
No, I think his dad was kind of a jerk.
That's what
Right.
usually
I
does it.
think his dad might have hit the
How is
sauce
it
a
we're
little too
asking the
much.
guy from Seattle,
I know, right?
right?
Well,
I am a big music guy, although I will say I was not the biggest Prince fan, not just out of ignorance, until I moved here, and everybody's just wild about Prince. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to listen to this dude's catalog.
Yep.
And you've heard the hits 100,000
Right.
times, right?
Right.
The backtracks, like the deep cuts
Yeah.
on Prince albums, especially the early ones. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude was amazing.
yeah.
That's sort of, and again, we'll get comments and I'll be in trouble, but I wasn't into Prince as a kid. It just didn't hit me. It didn't work for me. And then at
Right.
some point in my 30s or something, I listened to a whole bunch of the backtracks too. And I'm like, oh my God, what was I missing? This is really good. Because all I ever heard were the big hits, which catchy, great.
Sure.
Everyone
Yeah.
loves them. But it took me a while to really dig into the appreciation for them.
We're really good at ruining it for ourselves, right? I mean, plenty of other people ruin it for us too, right? Like the people that are in control of hitting the button at the radio station, or the people that used to be in control of hitting the button at the radio
Sure.
station. Like, you want to know what we're going to do. They love it. And our advertisers love it, and our sponsors love it, and all of these things. And then it's like, but I still don't want to hear that song again.
Yeah,
right. Like
right.
you messed up Tom Petty for me. You messed up Prince. You messed up. I mean, we just mess all of them up because we overplay them.
So similar. I had to take a little bit of a Nirvana Soundgarden break.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I moved to,
I bet.
like even when I was
sure.
in Seattle. I mean, just because that got played all the time.
Constantly, right?
Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, nonstop, all day, every
Yeah.
day. I'm sure for a while.
Yeah. It's still going.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's still going. We I don't know if
It's
there's
just
been
on
a big
repeat.
Seattle music act since grunge happened.
No, right? Like,
Probably true.
no, I doubt there is. So you're a lawyer and you have names on a wall.
I've got my name
What's
on the wall.
your name as well as some
That's an
other
important piece of it.
person's names on a wall? 'Cause
Other
it's like
other walls, other people. My wall.
Right.
like
Outside the building, it's got multiple names, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But then inside your office, it's only yours?
yeah,
I've got a couple partners, so they got their names up too.
sure.
In your
Right.
office?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of this joint?
Schulman Buzzkey Reams. I'm the Reams component.
Whoa.
I just love some of the last names that get thrown together here.
Yeah. And
My name
let's
had to
slow it
go
down.
last, by the way.
Oh yeah.
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 You don't want a Schulman Reams Buzzkey.
Right.
It definitely can't be middle.
Nope. Can't be middle.
Even
Can-
first is not preferable. You want it to be last, so that
Means
it's like a
it's short and
sentence.
sweet.
Yeah.
Schulman Buzzkey Reams.
Correct.
Okay, I was going to say let's break it down for our listeners slowly.
Yeah.
Schulman.
Schulman. Schulman.
Yep.
Okay.
No C.
Schulman.
Yeah. Schulman.
And then Buzzkey.
Buzzkey. Buske.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Busky.
Buzzkey. Yeah.
I was hearing Buzzkey.
I think he pronounces it Buzzkey, but yeah.
Okay.
I think you pronounce it the way that it sounds more fun.
Yeah.
I
and
think
then the easy
Buzzkey
one,
sounds
Reams.
Reams, yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And are you decent at this attorneying thing that you do, this lawyering thing?
I'd sure like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it
I've
for a while.
heard,
been doing it for a bit.
to be fair, I've heard that you are.
Yeah.
Figured I'd throw you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. When I first started, I was really a litigator and trial attorney. I think a lot of the name I made for myself in the profession is related to being a litigator and a trial attorney. To the extent that sometimes when people don't think that they can try cases or not feeling confident in their skills, a lot of times they'll call me and bring me in.
Oh.
So I can try the case for them if needed. A lot of them have settled, but
What type of cases? What type of law? I guess.
so when I first started, almost all of what I did was suits against the federal government. So if the federal government was going after somebody or somebody wanted to go after the federal government, I would take that case. And that was a kind of a nationwide practice. So
Okay.
actually, my first 2 years of practice, despite the fact that I lived and worked in Minnesota, I actually wasn't admitted to the Minnesota bar because all my cases were in different states.
Sure.
I got admitted to Washington, Seattle initially. And then, after you do well for somebody and they don't want to get in trouble again, they bring you on to make sure that they're following all the rules going forward and being careful. And so that kind of got me into compliance for a lot of, especially like government contractors, defense contractors, all the way down to people that, provided janitorial services or something for a building.
Yeah.
And then that actually is how I ended up in cannabis. I had a client that out in White Bear Lake that made a bunch of really cool, sophisticated stuff at a precision machine shop, working with materials that you got to be, licensed and, careful, like beryllium and things that are in full hazmat suits, like making lenses for satellites and things. And his son started one of the first water-soluble THC ingredients that was available in Minnesota. So actually, when I started advising on cannabis stuff, it was before our hemp bill even passed, and they were trying to get that to pass. The 20.
So what time?
It would have been late 2020, probably.
Okay. As Lance let you know before this, I'm completely green in the. I can't use that here.
Yeah, you can.
Because that means that
It means
I'm
the same thing.
I know, but it has a double meaning in this show.
It does.
I am very new to the world of cannabis.
Okay.
I part of the reason I conceived of this show was because I want to learn things about how all of this works.
Well, I'm sure you've got it all figured out by now, right?
I mean, it's the reason I've got such a great handle on it is because every day it's the same. Nothing ever changes in the world of cannabis, from what I've seen. Oh, you got my sarcasm. That was some deep Minnesotan sarcasm.
That's going to be a great one. I like it. I like it so much.
Every single time I read an article or talk to people about it, something new has happened. It's constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's been fun trying to advise people on it because it's changes all the time, super dynamic.
Yeah.
And then as soon as something happens, and it could be like the morning that it happened, and I don't even know because I'm focused on, other stuff. I haven't read the headline yet.
Right.
And the amount of phone calls that you get, just people upset and people interpret, the news doesn't do a great job. Reporting on the law, You see it a lot more, not to get super political with stuff, but, during the Trump administration especially, the media seems to love to report on legal battles.
Okay.
And it'll be like, judge allows this or judge prevents this. And it's like a temporary restraining order. Like that's a thing that happens, before the case is even resolved.
Like it's inconsequential.
It's not inconsequential. It maintains the status quo until the court can figure out what's going on.
Right. But it's not a change. It's a freeze.
Right.
Of some sort.
But believe it or not, he's only been president for 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
Law doesn't move that fast. No. I would love to say that it does. It does not. It takes time to figure that stuff out.
I mean, that's somewhat intentionally baked into the system, right? And sort of important that it doesn't move so swiftly, I would say.
To come to good decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not hasty ones.
Right.
We always like to say, one of the legal phrases, good facts make bad law. So if you've got somebody who you hear the story and you're like, this just shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen to anybody. And you can count on a judge, at least one judge that it could be in front of, thinking that way too. And then if they act a little bit too hastily because they want to help this one person out, sometimes that leads to legal decisions that are actually bad overall.
Right. It harm the
right.
Thing that was...
It creates a sort of, I hate the word loophole, but it creates an opportunity for somebody to dodge basically what the legislature was trying to do or what the law was trying to do before that point.
Because a judge made a decision
to be lenient,
too quick.
Right,
sure.
Right. And
but
didn't really think the full consequences.
Right.
It's not sort of like generally the nature of attorneys to find minute issues. Again, going deep on the sarcasm.
Right. Well,
words, all the words matter. Every single little word that they throw in there matters, right?
Well, and what you got to remember, too, is that attorneys are not trying to come to the correct answer, probably. what an attorney is trying to do is make a case for their client.
Yeah, advocate for their clients.
Right. That's our
solely.
That's our job.
Yeah.
And then in theory, if everybody's doing that on both sides, you end up with the best arguments for both sides of a dispute, and the judge is the one that's supposed to, it's insofar as they're making legal decisions and orders on the law. The judge is supposed to be the sort of neutral party that comes to the correct answer after hearing the advocates. But that's what we are, is we're advocates. We're not.
It's hard for people to remember that sometimes.
Right.
Especially in criminal defense, right?
Oh,
it's
for sure.
Hard for someone to say, to understand, like, well, how could you defend them? They're clearly guilty. But it's actually important that someone does defend them and defends them well, even if they are guilty, so that the ruling holds up, right?
Right. I remember when I was a law student, because I wanted to get real trial experience. The best way to do that is to go into criminal law. They try the most cases.
Criminal defense, yeah.
Right. Oh, and I was actually on prosecution.
Or prosecution, yeah.
And so it was low level stuff. I was my trial. The one trial I had through this clinic in law school was prosecuting a guy who his headlights were off.
Oh,
got a ticket
that
for
guy.
that.
Yeah.
Real jerk.
He
not
gets
at
what
all.
he deserves, as I'm saying.
Right.
No,
We're real quick to villainize, aren't we?
Right. No, he
didn't
honestly,
even use his blinker.
he was honestly he was a nice enough guy. He showed up. This is an aside.
Yeah.
This is actually
But
another.
This went to trial?
Yeah. Well, the reason was he was an immigrant.
Okay.
And when you move countries, you want to fit in. You don't want to be a criminal. And so, was he being tried for a true criminal offense? No. I mean, it was a petty misdemeanor, but he didn't understand that.
Okay.
And his big argument was, I'm not a criminal. And going back, I wish I would have talked to him and said, this doesn't make you a criminal. I've had traffic tickets too.
Right.
Like,
you wish you had known that to say that too.
Right. To just let him know that, but I'm here advocating for the state because that's where my mind is.
Yeah.
But other cases, when you were talking about being a defense attorney and good facts making for bad law, I remember I had a case. I was trying to determine if there was probable cause, and they found weed in the guy's trunk. Mm-hmm. And but the reason this guy was pulled over was because he had something dangling from his rearview mirror. I don't know if it was dice or something.
Those
Classic.
And so that is not illegal in Washington. And that was not a law I was actually aware of at the time, even in Minnesota. That was kind of surprising to me that that's an offense. And so I was reading through this, and I went to my supervising attorney, and I was like, I don't think there was probable cause. There wasn't reasonable suspicion to pull the guy over.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was like, oh, no, he had something dangling from his mirror. And I was like, oh, that's illegal here? She was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a probable cause machine, to do. And there was another attorney there who was pretty right wing. She flipped out. I think
Was upset with you.
Yeah, I think Obama had just won like his second election.
Yeah.
And she was upset about that.
Salty.
Yeah.
Over that.
So you're the most defense-minded attorney I've ever. And it's like, hey, like I just didn't know. Like I'm just trying to do my job.
Right.
But and I think a lot of people would say, probably not the listeners to your podcast, but this guy did have illegal at the time cannabis in his trunk.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's clearly guilty. But at the same time, is this the world you want to live in? Do you want the cops to just be able to search you for no reason?
Right.
Or not, do you want to give them that power? Because
I mean, it's a hypothetical, but it's not so much a hypothetical. No, I don't want them to be able to do that.
Exactly.
And if the fuzzy dice dangling or the air freshener dangling from your mirror was something that was, if that law was applied equally to everyone, it might be something we all just agree this has caused, there's a reason for this. It has caused this many accidents or something. but we all know it was not applied equally.
Right.
Was it? It was.
Well,
it
and-
was used as a machine.
And the other thing is, I would suspect, and I don't know, I'm not a police officer. I don't know how many of these tickets get issued, but I'm assuming that's a pretty rare ticket. Like if they, if they pulled the person over, they didn't smell anything, there was nothing else the person was doing wrong, would they have given him a ticket or just a warning like, hey, just so you know, you can't have this dangling here, this air freshener or whatever it was.
I would guess it would be unlikely they would pull anyone over for that unless they were looking for something to,
Right.
Because, I mean, honestly, the number of people who have the stuff hanging anyway, it's not like the police are frequently conducting roadway stops with, like checkpoints, and everyone who comes through, they're like, gotcha. More dangly shit.
Right. Right.
Like that doesn't happen.
And I know how it works because, this Minnesota has not. It's had some pretty traumatic events with police.
Yep.
Since I moved here in 2010.
Yep.
And lots of solutions. We will see what works, but that seems like folks are at least trying stuff out as a state to address this stuff.
Yep.
But when I lived in Washington, around the Seattle area, cops were everywhere. I mean, it's not like it is even now here or ever since I've lived in Minnesota. And, when I worked at a bar, I was a bartender in between when I graduated college. I took a year off before I started law school and went to the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
And every night when I was driving home from my shift at the bar, and I hadn't been drinking or anything, I would get pulled over every single night. Following, I was very careful about because I knew I was going to get pulled over.
Yep.
And they'd always find some, oh, you just barely crossed the line over, 100 yards back. So, I am sensitive and appreciate that while, yes, technically illegal things happen, I do think that there's other motivations that at least some police officers can have, deciding to, they're fishing. They're trying to find a drunk driver or something.
Yeah, they're sport fishing,
Right.
And that's not policing.
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
That's sport fishing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I think we can all, just in case it comes across in any way as anti-police, it's not that.
No.
There's a purpose and a bigger mission that's out there, and fuzzy dice hanging from a mirror is like where we maybe have made laws that go a little too far.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a different reason for this law.
Yeah. But all in all, I know we're all supportive actually of good policing.
I am very supportive.
Yeah,
of
as am I.
policing. Yeah.
So do you think that the OCM is doing any form of policing? I mean, like inspectors and, kind of formation where we are. I mean, this is kind of something that we'll probably cover a little bit more in the second part of our conversation, right? But to understand where we are with the OCM, where we are with legalization, where we are with cultivation licenses, because we need those first, right? Mm-hmm. Where we are with the unsuccessful rollout of social equity application / licensing. This is a lot to talk about.
Is that officially unsuccessful at this point?
I think there's a lot of us that would consider that unsuccessful at this point.
Yeah, I'm just
the
curious.
rollout of that.
Yeah,
yes.
I would say that it was unsuccessful. The goal here was to allow, the social equity folks are the people that were trying to help, right?
Yeah.
And one of the advantages they were supposed to have was an early start to the market.
Yep.
Maybe it's only a couple months, but that is a couple months.
It's good to be established, early.
Look at how well Red Lake's doing.
Yep.
And no, I do think that was unsuccessful. I know that when they issued their press releases regarding this, and there was all the appeals and everything else, one of which I represented a client on, their comment was, well, this is a bunch of people trying to game the system and get a bunch of licenses. And as far as I saw in the appeals and speaking with attorneys, that absolutely was not true. I mean, after that, after we got back all of the denials for folks, I think I was on a call with, God, probably 30-something attorneys, and everybody's just trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
Because whatever you do, the state's going to argue that you did the wrong thing.
And the people are.
Right.
I mean, isn't that just the nature of us as humans to just
Right.
kind of, because they went down that route. Good intentions aren't exactly what I want to say, but they put a lot of thought into why they were going to do these things this way, and what the intent of it was, the purpose that it was supposed to serve. And regardless, it's almost like it was set up to fail from the start, because you're going to have people who are upset by the fact that it's even happening.
Right. Well, and you got to think about, so I can almost guarantee they had some form of AI helping them review applications.
Oh.
I don't know that for a certainty, but I could
AI.
But I could almost guarantee it with some of the issues that folks encountered, because I had one client where their application was denied because they said they failed to submit a photo ID, and that was the only reason. But they'd been verified as a social equity enterprise, which means they already had to submit their ID.
Right.
And I know for a fact that they submitted the exact same document to verify their ID as part of their application.
Right.
I had another who uploaded their capitalization table. Everybody's got to upload these things through the portal themselves. That's not a thing as an attorney that I can do.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they make the profile, they do the uploads. I can review their application to make sure that it's legally compliant.
Right.
But they're the ones that upload it. And so I think it got uploaded to the wrong place. And so they failed everything related to their capitalization table, including a finding that they were a true party of interest on more than one application, which absolutely wasn't true. Mm-hmm. And, during this whole process, there's nobody to talk to at the OCM. Honestly, I've been communicating with them and trying to solve problems by going through the AG's office, which I'm sure the AG's office loves.
Yeah,
This is what
they're calling us people.
The middlemen to communicate with the OCM, because there's no contact information for that office.
It's like calling in somewhere and going, 1 for sales, even though you know it's a technical issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you end up getting old Lance on the phone, and I'm like, well, let me see what I can figure out. And I'm like, I'm going to have to transfer you. And they're like, but why? And I'm like, well, you got to sales. They're like, well, I mean, I totally tried to get sales because I knew I was going to get to somebody faster.
Right.
I mean, so that's what you're doing. You're just pressing 1 for the AG, and then call center references.
Talking to your contacts.
Well, and so you're thinking that some of these issues that they had where a document is in the wrong place, let's say, would have been solved by a human. Like a human would have figured this out.
And if there was they say, or they said in the beginning, so they got this entity, a CSI, I think it was called. It was the vendor that was sort of helping them. And it makes sense to use a vendor. I'm not trying to knock them for deciding because when you're reviewing thousands of applications, there is a manpower issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even get using computer programs to figure this stuff out.
Yep.
But you need a human contact for when something goes wrong. And they gave you contacts, and then you'd call them, and nobody would pick up.
Right.
There was a couple folks that I called every other day for a few weeks.
And never got
a call back.
Yeah, that's an issue. And this is my little soapbox or something, but in too many ways we've taken kind of the human out of our very much human lives that we live, and that does tend to cause trouble.
Sometimes we check too many boxes. Sometimes we don't check enough boxes.
Right.
And then if you were to just understand that it's not about the box and it's actually about the human, then we might be in a better spot.
In all of my dealings with the state when I was a contractor, it drove me crazy that every 3 years I would have to renew something that was 6 or 7 different copies of the same thing. Mm-hmm. My name, my address, my license number, these just basics of information. And every single time I would ask, don't you have one thing where you can just say, has anything changed in 3 years? No. Like, okay, good. Sign there. Like everything's the same, yet every time I have to fill out all of the same stuff.
Yeah.
The bureaucracy gets in the way.
It does.
And what you end up with is, and I mean, I think this is true with licensing too. What you end up with is people that are good at the bureaucracy.
Of course.
I mean, that's who's going to be successful. That's what you're weeding out, is people that are not good with the bureaucracy.
Yep.
People that are good are going to be the successful folks.
Yep. And in the absence of it, it's pandemonium and mayhem and chaos as well sometimes. Like
Right.
you know, if it's just left into the wild, we do crazy stuff over there too. So
Right.
you need the regulation, yet you hate the regulation because I can imagine the number of people who just aren't very good at going through all of that, who aren't well served by that system then.
Right. I cannot tell you the amount of people that this is the most common conversation that I have with potential clients. I am the best grower in the entire world.
Right. That's what I'm good at.
I grow the best weed that there is. I will succeed in this market.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to put together a business plan.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is how are they reviewing, I don't know how they review the business plan. I don't think that they're reviewing them to be like, oh yeah, that business will succeed. This isn't a merit-based application
Right.
anymore.
And
It's
who would
more,
judge that anyway?
How could you?
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of that stuff changes in between the time of application and execution, because you have an idea of what you want to do, but like talk about capital or loans or anything else, or your location, like all of that is subject to change based upon, whether or not you succeed in this license, when, how the local municipality and county does their registrations, like whether your business partners change.
Yep. We've been seeing a lot of that actually, that, people got into it and so much has changed in between. They're not even really doing sort of the same thing in the same way that they stated on their application.
Right. And so what they've proved is that they can bureaucratically they can fulfill the application process to a de minimis standard.
Yep.
In the government contracting world, we called that technical acceptability.
Okay.
Like as long as it's a technically acceptable application, you either get your license or you go to the lottery.
Yep.
More on that.
Yeah, more on that after the break. Right? Is that what you're going to say?
That's exactly what you took the words right out of my mouth.
Woo! Good work. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back for a second half. Sounds good.
Awesome.
See you.
Thanks, Jared. At Canopy Accounting, we're not just accountants. We're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates, we provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business. Legend Technical Services. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state. Do you need a legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman Buskey Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for cannabis business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman Buskey Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone. Whether you are new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge, come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals have to offer. From beverages to sleep aids and everything in between, CannaCon is the place to be. Auric Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans, 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. That's 763-312-0177. This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Jared.
Good to be back.
We were in the middle of something.
The Office of Cannabis Management, social equity licensing, whether we thought it was flawed. Well, we didn't even go there. Sorry. Successful or unsuccessful.
Sure.
We think it's unsuccessful. You don't know enough to know.
What I'm trying to do is not cast blame, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I think that the complexity of what is happening here you're talking business, you're talking government, you're talking regulation, you're talking a product and a plant that has a long history, some of it not so great. It's also still technically illegal federally. The complexity is so deep that what I would hope to foster is conversation, not animosity. I think people are looking for a way to figure this all out, and maybe they're not going to get it right each time,
And I do think, they needed to get this licensing process off the ground eventually. And I don't think anybody believed, when all of this was rolled out, that everything would be perfect.
Right.
Minnesota's also trying to do, and solve a lot of problems that other states have encountered in their own rollouts. Minnesota certainly isn't the worst as to how these things have been rolled out. It was unfortunate what happened with that first round of social equity applications. What they did do, for those folks is they provided opportunities to fix their applications if they were unfairly denied. And if your application went through and it was accepted, in the social equity round, you will get a license.
Okay. So that's a guarantee at that point.
If you were approved the first time around, you will get that license, as I understand, as long as it's an uncapped license type. If it's a capped license type, you'll have to go into the lottery.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it all works the way that it was meant to work, then you'll be good.
Right. And
kind of what that is.
And half of the available licenses are still reserved specifically for social equity businesses. And then the other half, anybody can get, including social equity businesses.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to say that the state isn't emphasizing that, certainly.
Yeah.
Some things went wrong that seemed to me to be technical issues. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I guess was the most frustrating, again, was just not being able to contact a human being to try to get those worked out.
Turns out it's nice to talk to humans and get things
Right.
fixed, isn't it?
So we'll see what this looks like the next time around.
Well, and those large systems never roll out
No.
painlessly. Like there always is something.
Right.
When the insurance exchange rolled out, they had spent, years and millions upon millions of dollars, and it came out and it failed flat, fell out flat on its face immediately or something. So
Right.
Well, what about our DMV system from, like, if we remember this long back? I know that when pandemics happen, sometimes, things get all jumbled as far as memory goes. But there was like a whole DMV system thing that we spent millions and millions and millions on, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, but that doesn't work, and it's going to take this much more. It's like, oh yeah, right. So I mean,
these big systems are hard.
They're hard. Yeah, I'm adding that to add that. Yeah, because they're hard.
They are.
Yeah,
and so if we're looking out at the landscape here, like your role generally as an attorney is to advocate for some of these business owners who are going through the process of getting their license?
So hopefully I won't have to advocate. I hopefully I won't have to represent them in some kind of contested proceeding. My goal really is to be a sort of general counsel for them from the beginning.
More of an advisor early on.
Right, to make sure that dispute doesn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, you're good with words because that's the way I actually meant it.
Right.
But you're right. Whatever I said made it sound like you were representing them in court.
And I do that.
But you're working with them. You're also working with them before any of that happens to go over their applications, to make sure that things look like it's all in order, and to advise, right?
Right. Yeah. As far as the licensing process goes.
Yeah.
And like I said, the only clients that I had whose licenses were denied the first time around were ones that didn't have me review their application beforehand. Because it is, you're just making sure.
I sure did.
Yeah.
As an attorney, I'm just making sure the boxes are checked.
Mm-hmm. So you had basically a 100% success rate with the ones
for the applications I actually reviewed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the ones that you didn't were the ones that, obviously we don't know the percentages of what was, but I think that's important because
again, it goes back to that. I'm very good at the bureaucracy.
Right.
That's what I'm trained in. Right.
Well, this is why you hire people that are good at things that you're not good at. The one thing that you don't probably think about, right, which is what I'm getting out of this right now, is we don't think we need a lawyer until we actually need a lawyer. The challenge with that thought process is that when you're in business, you need a lawyer so that you don't need a lawyer.
It's way cheaper to avoid the problem altogether than it is to find yourself in the problem and then have to fight, to fix it.
I have felt this personally.
Yes.
I have been in that situation myself personally. And I know what you're saying is true. It's still difficult for a small business owner, especially in a round of government process that doesn't guarantee you an end result. Like, so these people have spent, a year or two now doing some work towards something that they're not even guaranteed for?
Sometimes more.
Yeah. And then, so it's the hours that they put into it, it's the money they put into it, and then a layer on top of that is now I have to hire an attorney.
Well, and also because so much time has passed, which again, I understand the OCM wanting to get this rolling. I commend them for that.
Yeah.
A deal that made sense 2 years ago when you were finding your strategic partners and everything else, that deal might not exist. It might not be a good deal anymore.
I'm not sure anything is the same in my life that it was 2 years ago.
No.
Like everything seems different.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine.
Eggs are $10 now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's a whole lot of other things globally.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah, right. So
I'll have a 2-egg omelet instead of 3, please.
Look at this guy ordering eggs.
Oh God, my two.
Did you say souffle? What?
My teenage boys eat nothing but eggs. Those
I know.
bastards.
Right.
It's fine. I love them.
They were putting them raw in their smoothies. I'm like, stop that.
But yeah, so I can empathize with the business owner that's saying, well, how much more am I going to spend on this endeavor that may never pan out?
It's like I paid a lawyer good money to review a contract that now I can't use. Right. Or I paid a lawyer to prepare, the bylaws or my partnership agreement or whatever.
Yeah.
And now my partners have changed because they've kind of become disillusioned by the situation.
Oh, it happens.
And now I got to change that.
Yeah.
And different problems coming with that.
Yeah.
You lock down your capital, you lock down your loan, you do any of that. That could change because you just couldn't get your business going because it doesn't have a license yet. So yeah, like I understand the hesitancy in paying for a lawyer. I can very much appreciate that. What I would say is when you want a lawyer is before you sign your name on stuff.
Sure.
Before you get into an agreement that you don't want to be a part of. And also, before you hire your lawyer, get an idea of what it is that you want to do. One thing that I don't do, I've never run a cannabis business.
Right.
I've never grown. I've never run any kind of retail business.
Right.
And so I'm not your guy for figuring out your business plan or how it is that you want to operate. what I am great at is once you figure out how you want your business to work, I can create the documents that ensure that it's going to work that way.
Yep.
Or
that at least lay a solid ground.
Exactly.
A solid footprint for what it's going to do. Because you attorneys, no one ever writes the perfect contract that can't be contested.
No, which is true.
Yeah.
But you can write them so that you avoid the majority of problems.
That's right.
And that if there is a problem, the contract can kind of tell you how that gets worked out, so you don't immediately have to go to a courtroom and spend a bunch of money, because litigation is very expensive.
Wickedly expensive, yes.
Right.
Yep. Is that your sole specialty in that firm, or do all three of you, or do you have other attorneys at this firm as well?
It's just the three of us.
Okay.
Which has been really nice. We've been able to, we have like no overhead, which is great.
Yep. So you do understand some business stuff.
I do.
Yeah.
Only from the legal side.
Okay, sounds good, but it's still business stuff.
Yeah. But, and because of that, we've been able to offer really competitive pricing, which is really fun. And I think that we get to work with a lot of small businesses, especially that, maybe didn't think they could ever hire an attorney.
Right.
But we can create a solution or something for them. But it's me and my partner, Craig Buskey, that do the cannabis stuff. Dave, I would call an enthusiast. I don't think he'd mind me saying that, sure. But he's much more on the sole litigation kind of side of things. Craig has done business advising and consulting and been general counsel for businesses all over Minnesota for 15 years now.
Sure.
I think. So this is
Good
kind of a
knowledge.
natural. Yeah, it's kind of at the end of the day, a cannabis business is still a business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And most of the problems that you're going to encounter, aside from just the compliance issues, are the same
They're
types
just
of
business
problems.
issues.
Yeah. What makes this kind of expensive is there's a lot of laws. The regs haven't passed yet, which I suppose we should come back to, because I don't think they're allowed to issue licenses until they actually enact rules, which that hasn't been done yet. So, but there is a lot to digest in there.
Yep.
From a compliance perspective. But also, you were talking about the OCM enforcing, the rules here. And I know that they are, because I've represented people that they've enforced rule, at least in the hemp side
rules.
of things.
Yes, on the hemp side.
But I think there does seem to be a significant enough contingent of folks, especially since this is a risky, very entrepreneurial time, to be in cannabis, that they'll roll the dice. And if something gets enforced against them, I guess they'll change. But they don't even think something will be enforced against them because, again, we're just getting up and running. There's a lot of business that's going to start. And the OCM only has so many people, that are working for it.
Well, this is true. Right. I mean, you said a minute ago that, it's almost like it's not entirely clear that this is just a business, but it is. And when it stops being a cannabis business, when it's just another business, because alcohol, you run into regulation and running afoul of regulation, whether that's a liquor store or a bar or a restaurant that serves, even in construction, there's regulation that people run afoul of, and then you kind of create a black market where people aren't pulling the permits and they're doing the work under the table. Like you can.
And these are businesses with far more established infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. So at some point down the road, the cannabis part of it isn't going to be the focus. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a business that is regulated, but because it's cannabis,
right.
But it's not going to be. We're not going to have as much of the stigma left about the cannabis part of it itself.
And I am excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this to be a little bit more normalized so that it becomes less of a political issue and just more of a legal issue.
I think you said better what I was trying to say.
Right.
Yeah.
When it becomes just another business.
Right.
That's fine. I mean, we won't get too personal with the details, but I hear you have a child.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, he's 10 and a half weeks old, little Felix.
10 and a half weeks old.
Yeah, I'm living on
God, they're
coffee
cute.
with the.
For sure.
He is very cute. I know I'm biased, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks their kid's cute.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known it. We had a.
And most of the time they are.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
most of the time they are.
Well, I said most of the time. Sam said some of the time.
Yeah. It's not often that you see a picture of a baby and you're like,
I'm
"Oh,
just here.
That's
for
a bad baby.
I'm just here for the conversation. your kid's ugly.
We had a woman in the studio the other day who was 6 or 7 months along, and I've learned through making mistakes that you don't say anything about someone's pregnancy unless you are damn certain.
You ask, yeah. You let them start the conversation. Just ask questions.
That's right. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know
I
exactly
have
what
done
you're trying
that. I'm like, anyway.
Man,
But
my feet really hurt. Yes, my feet hurt too. Like you just got to find the thing in order. If you really want to talk about it, there's a way.
there is a way, and eventually we got to the point where it came up, and I would not have known as a 20-some-year-old man that I get teary around pregnant ladies, and I love babies. It's so weird.
Right.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly what you're talking about.
Could you cry at engagements? Even if they're on the
No.
TV?
Marriage?
I do.
Marriage,
like
no
two
way.
people going, yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I don't know if they're happy tears or if they're not happy tears, but there's tears. Because I'm just like, that's a fucking commitment right there.
Oh, that's cute.
You know?
No, for me, it's babies. It's
correct.
pregnant ladies and babies. I just
I think I think it took having a son and going through that whole process and, supporting my wife and all the, oh my God, the stuff that they've got to go through. It just, their whole body changes, everything.
Oh.
It's just like,
I mean, you're
what's
growing that
happening
whole
today?
thing in you.
Oh my gosh. It's, anyway.
I'm going to bring this
just the
back
knowledge.
around to cannabis, but
I can't wait.
But before I
babies,
do,
babies and cannabis.
So how do we stand up a market like we stand up a
what are the
toddler?
babies thinking about weed these days?
What are the babies saying?
Well, yeah, what are the babies saying? What's the word on the street with baby land? No, I will say, just on a human decency sort of level, I think when you have a kid like that and those emotions, I think it happens that transcends politics, right? But it is our, sort of our highest purpose, really, to take care of the species.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Therefore, the ladies who are pregnant and the children, right? The innocence in it all, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're not doing a great job of taking care of the more innocent people in the world these days.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just
Sometimes.
throw that out there.
Sometimes you
I'm
think
not
so?
getting deep
Sometimes,
into
not
it, but
most
yes,
of the time.
Yeah.
Not
I feel-
most of the time.
I think perhaps we could do a little
fucking
better.
things up sometimes
Yes.
when we shouldn't be.
Agreed.
Sometimes it feels like we're actively working against them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So back to cannabis. No. So part of the reason for me starting this was because I've got a 17 and a 15-year-old, two boys right now, and then I've got an 8-year-old girl. I say it repeatedly. She's my favorite. But anyway, presumably 15, 16, 17 years from now, right? Felix is going to be entering adulthood in a different world. And when we were kids, I know for me, smoking a little grass or whatever, smoking a little weed was like a completely and utterly illicit thing that you had to go meet with some sketchy person to get
Hang out with them for a little too long.
Oh God! And they were always older, and they were weird because they were stoned, and you didn't know what that meant.
Smoke what you bought with them and then have to buy more because you already smoked what you bought.
Oh God, I don't remember it all, but yes, I do remember uncomfortable situations. I remember feeling like, wow, this could get me in a lot of trouble. And then at the same time, looking around and saying, but everybody smokes, and all my parents' friends, and how is it all, tied in? So now, presumably, well, okay, so
Some of
my
the time.
kids are at a point where I'm looking at them thinking, I know you're going to a party, and I know there's going to be alcohol, and they're very open with us. And the 15-year-old is not, it's off limits. But the 17-year-old, I'm like, oh God, if I don't, this won't get me in trouble legally, right?
Probably not.
No.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it.
Slides a quarter across the table. Retainer.
Gotcha.
We're set, right?
Yeah. No, I lived in Germany for a while, and they let the kids drink at 15 or 16 there, and they can't drive until they're 18. I thought that was a really smart move. Thought that was great. I know that's not what we are here in America, but I also know that the kids still do the things that they're not supposed to do. That
You don't
are
say.
illegal. Yes, right? And they always have, and they always will.
Right.
So my preference would be that they don't hide it from me. They don't that we have some open dialogue. So if for instance my son, who will go unnamed, no one could ever figure out who I'm talking about.
Nope.
If he says, let's hypothetical. Let's say he said this.
Lawyers love that.
Yeah. That maybe he was going to go to a party and there might be alcohol there, and Dad, could I drink? And let's say I said something like, well, if you're gonna, I would rather you understood what you're getting into. And here's some of the things I know about this, and no, I'm not going to let you just pull shots of vodka off a bottle like you idiots do at that age. Here's
Right.
some things that you should do instead, right? I want to have the same type of conversation around weed. I want that to be something that I can talk to them about and be relatively well educated, and they can do something that's in a can, that's very regulated, that isn't just, they don't have to go sit with weirdo Steve and talk about talk about seriously 50 cals and how
Right.
they
You can buy weed. You can buy weed, but you got to bring the dealer over to the house so that I can meet him.
Exactly.
I can bet you're.
Exactly. I want to talk to this guy.
You know what I'm talking about.
No,
I don't want that.
I have thought about this conversation a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, because especially, I am serving the industry at the very least.
Yep.
I'm a cannabis attorney.
Yeah.
And
Wear
yeah,
it.
you are opening yourself to the "you're such a hypocrite" conversation, with your kids when they, come to that age where they might start trying stuff. I'm more with you. I would rather have a relationship with my kid where he can talk to me about stuff and feel safe about that. And if he ends up in a bad situation, can call me so that I can help him, as opposed to him doing something worse because he's afraid of getting caught.
Totally.
Like drinking at a party and deciding to drive home.
Yeah.
Right.
The worst of all things.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Awful.
And I mean, for me, I think that the conversation is something like, look, is weed as bad as a lot of people say it is, or how we used
Or
to
is
talk
marijuana
about?
or cannabis. Even now we don't have to
Right.
call it weed.
Yeah, we can
right?
cannabis. Yeah, and the answer is no. At the same time, it does change your brain.
That's right.
Alcohol does the same thing,
Yep.
and it makes you. Let's say I didn't have a ton of friends. I know this is a generalization. I know this is anecdotal, but I didn't have a ton of friends that were big stoners in high school that went off to be highly successful people.
Sure.
And I knew a lot of bright people that, used all the time.
Yep.
While it is not addictive in the same way as alcohol or some other drugs are, opiates or something like that, I wouldn't say it's not addictive. At least
We've
as a
talked about
habit.
this
Right.
on here before. There are habit formed addictions or something for sure.
Right.
Yep.
And especially when you've got, you're in school, the pressure's on, you're trying to take tests, you're trying to study, you're trying to theoretically get good grades and everything else. If, your solution in dealing with that stress is not addressing the problem, studying for that test, double checking your homework, doing the things that you don't want to do, that you're not inclined to do as a person, which is work at the issue that's causing you the anxiety.
Yep.
If your solution is instead to use a substance to escape from that, you're going to end up relying on that substance, and you're probably not going to adequately address the issue that was giving you the anxiety in the first place.
Yep.
And so it's, I think this is like a series of several conversations I can imagine having with my son.
Yep.
But, because it's a combination of things. Should you be using it until you're 21? No.
It would be preferable that you didn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And I can promise you, in a lot of respects, life is going to be a lot easier on you if you don't.
Yeah.
And, but if you do, certainly don't use it as an escape. And if you do, try not to turn it into a habit.
Right.
And again, that's a difficult thing. Nobody starts doing any type of substance, I think, wanting it to be a habit.
No.
Nobody's like, I'm going to get my New Year's resolution is I'm going to get addicted to cannabis.
Right.
Nobody says that.
No.
It's always, you use it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then maybe you find yourself taking a tolerance break or something like that, some time off.
Yeah, you don't, that second helping can be a thing too, right? We can come back to something just as simple as food as far as substance, or working out can also be those things. And maybe you might see that as taking it to an extreme, but that second helping and that building that habit of that second helping is no better for our body than, like that sense of overeating to escape is this exact same thing that we're talking about. Substance is substance, but in this case, the thing that we always get a little confused by is that's our fuel, right? But too much of that fuel, right?
Becomes
too much
a problem.
cannabis, too much this, too much that, right? That's just really, that's where...
It's got to be a conversation where it's not just about cannabis. It's not just about alcohol. This is really true for everything.
Yeah, all things in moderation. Yeah.
I thought I went to the doctor because I thought I had a heart problem at one point in time.
Yeah.
But what it was is I was drinking 12 cups of coffee a day and I wasn't eating breakfast or lunch. And the doctor's like, it's probably not great for you.
Right.
But
that is kind of like having a heart problem.
Yeah. That's how this isn't helping your anxiety any, believe it or not.
Right.
All things in moderation, certainly.
Yeah.
But also, trying to get the idea that perhaps you can end up at a point where you recognize that something's becoming unhealthy for you and you can take the impetus to try to curtail that or find a different solution because you're already thinking about these things. So that, again, we're going to stop the problem before it's there.
Yep.
And it's not a bunch of people coming to, you show up at the house and all your close family and friends are around, have a seat in the chair. We'd like to talk to you about your, alcohol use.
Yep.
Drug,
Well, you are a new father, and this is not a criticism of that or a critique, but you are going to be such a good father to Felix and any other children that you have that you won't have to have these conversations. They won't be that tough for you, okay? Because
I hope so.
you
True.
get them.
It's easy. It's easy that way. As long as you do all of the right stuff, those conversations don't have to happen.
You do it before then,
Yeah.
right? You're jumping forward to a child 15, 16, 17 years from now that you don't know really that well.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you get there, you're going to be such a good father that those conversations are going to be natural between the two of you. That you're going to say, yeah, kid, we've already talked about some of this stuff and you know how I feel. And yeah, just don't get addicted to things, this, that, the other thing. But isn't it cool that, you can go by, if you're going to that party tonight and you're trying to decide how to socialize with your friends and have fun and be safe, remember what I talked to you about.
Right. Well, and in addition to that, and I know that this is just adding to the conversation, one of the funnest guys that I knew in college, this dude was an absolute delight, and everybody on campus seemed to know him. And I went to a state school, so it was, it was a big campus.
Yeah.
This guy was musical. He could play the piano. He was funny. Everybody loved him. Didn't drink at all.
Yep.
Even after he was of legal drinking age. Didn't smoke, didn't do any drugs or anything. And he was a super dynamic, awesome, fun person that everybody loved. Yeah. High five. What a dork.
Lame. That's what everybody calls him, but he's awesome.
I just had
awesome.
to.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I did not drink until my 18th birthday. Not to say that I was
not as good as you.
well, I saw my family history and I thought, okay, we're going to have a relationship with alcohol anyway. We better get through high school first is what I thought,
Yeah.
And it's been fine. But I remember very clearly I went to a ton of parties and I think I was fun. But I know I had fun. I think other people seemed to have fun around me.
Everybody was calling you lame in the background doing
In a certain way, yes, because they were like,
They go
does
to the
Sam
back room.
really not drink? Like, no, I don't drink.
It's ridiculous. Why does he always wear a Hawaiian shirt?
That's only the last
It
few.
is.
I know.
I wish I had found him in high school.
It is funny how sometimes people get bummed out that you don't use something. Like,
Yes. Even if you're
like somehow they take that
As a
personally, it
personal
ruins.
affront.
It's like it's their choice,
Right.
but for some reason that's now having some kind of weird effect on you.
Or
Yeah.
even telling somebody sometimes they're nervous, right? I'll be doing tastings and I'll be just standing there in a liquor store and somebody comes in. I'm like, I'll sample. And they're like, well, what is it? And I'm like, oh, it's cannabis water. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, no, I don't do that. I'm like, yeah, totally cool. And but
That's
like
fine.
when they're saying no about it, you can see it in their facial expression that they're almost disappointed to tell you.
Well, because
It's
they're
how
like,
they don't.
oh, here we go.
I know. And I'm like,
Here
no,
we
that's-
go. He's going to give me this spiel about
Yeah.
how everything's cool, and I just don't want to do it.
He's gonna-
They've got the canned conversation like pulling up on their
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. These microfibers are the best for glass.
Right.
Let me show you. It's
Right.
like, no, we're not doing that. Like, go do whatever you were doing. You don't want to
exactly.
sample. That's cool with me.
Yep. Well, Jared, I hope that, not hope, I have a suspicion that all of that is going to play out that way, that you are going to do really well as a father. And my point more or less was, you two and the other people that we interview on the show and the people in the industry in general are making it so that 15, 16 years from now, it doesn't have to be such an awkward conversation.
Right.
You're in
Let's
the process.
let's make
of fixing
cannabis less sexy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Less sexy.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I think when a kid and I'm talking legal age kid,
Yeah.
or a mother can walk into, or anyone can walk into a store and decide, oh, I don't want any of this alcohol, but I will take this other thing that is, yeah, sure. It can cause a little trouble here and there, but it's maybe better for me. And it's just a good alternative.
I've got a buddy that's back in Seattle. If he has 2 beers, like 2 light beers, for whatever reason, he will get a hangover for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I cannot
Doesn't
tell
need
you.
beer then.
I know.
That's
and
bad.
And I can't tell you how cool it was when Minnesota started the on-site, consumption of the hemp stuff.
Right.
Because now he can go to the bar with us and he's got something that he can sip on that's not going to mess him up.
Right.
And we can all just chill and do our own thing. And we got the opportunity to do that. And it doesn't, because it really was true. Like going out when I was a kid in law school, it was very drinking focused.
Heavily drinking, alcohol focused.
Right.
Absolutely.
And now the mocktails that are available that have nothing in them,
Yep.
the cannabis beverages. I just love that there's options for people in social spaces to hang out.
Because isn't that what it's really all about?
Yeah.
You're going there and presumably having a couple of drinks to be social.
Exactly.
And everybody knows. And, let's say my 17-year-old, let's just pretend like maybe he said that very same thing, that's one of the things that he noticed, that a drink or two, all of a sudden people he was not talking to before, the whole room's talking to each other, right? We know that can be an effect of this. But it can also be the case that a non-alcoholic beverage that is well-crafted and really good loosens you up a little bit and makes you feel comfortable in the situation. And now you're engaged in the social activity too,
Right.
or a THC beverage. Like these are all fine all fine options, and alcohol is certainly the one that we've pushed the hardest, and it is not maybe not the best of them as
Right.
far as options go.
Great point.
Yep.
Great point.
All right, you two. Yeah, I think we should wrap this up. Do you have anything? I mean, we touched on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that you need to let the audience know?
Just get off my chest. Should I do the shameless plug for the firm again? No, I think we covered that just fine. I would say
It's good.
Yeah, my advice to anybody. Oh, you know what? Here's a great plug for folks in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I know that they are trying to wind up a cannabis business technical assistance program, which is paid for by the government. You will be talking to an actual lawyer. It's free to you. Technically, it's only available for folks that are at least interested in starting their business in Minneapolis.
Sure.
But it is a great way to get free legal advice. If you have a question regarding the regulations or anything, they're there to help you. I don't think the program's fully up yet, but we were talking about access to lawyers and how important that can be. I would love to see a statewide program mirror that. I commend Minneapolis for trying this out, and I can't wait till it's up and running. So that's what I'll plug.
That's awesome.
At Cannabis Accounting, we're not just accountants, we're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates. We provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business.
Legend Technical Services. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state.
Do you need legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman Buskey Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman Buskey Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone, whether you're new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge. Come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals have to offer, from beverages to sleep aids and everything in between. CannaCon is the place to be.
Auric Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans, 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. That's 763-312-0177.
This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work. I'll suggest to you, would you maybe be willing to come in here into our studio at some point if we put 10 or 15 business owners in here who just wanted to learn more about things or had questions that needed to be answered?
I would love that. I do stuff like that all the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if Calandra were here, we would talk more about that. But it's something we want to do anyway, is start to have, just painless little seminars.
Yes.
Like, don't worry. It's not going to hurt you, but you want to do this thing. Here's what it looks like to talk to a lawyer. Yes, he's middle-aged and white, and he's an attorney, and it's frightening. I get it. But no, in all honesty, I just want people to feel comfortable. And I know sometimes that's the toughest part, right?
It very much is. And
just walking through the door is tough.
Yes. Well, and the amount of anxiety that people get talking to me, and I'm not even charged. They like the amount of people that don't understand that I'm not charging them right now for when we're having our conversation.
First conversation.
It's like we haven't signed, like you haven't retained me for anything. This
You're
is
not
all
getting a
free
bill.
stuff. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're just having a chat,
Right.
you know?
No, it's an
But-
intimidating thing, and it.
Right.
You
Because
know-
people have a tendency to think they're getting roped into with how a lot of this world works.
Yeah.
That's an understandable
Yeah.
predisposition to have.
I made this same argument to a banker a while back. So it's just the three of you in the office, right? And I don't know what your offices look like or whatever, but
Sort of like this, brick windows.
yeah, walking through the door can be very intimidating. Like just entering the building, if this is not your world, right, and you're the best grower in the state,
Exactly.
right? Like you're super good at the farming and growing of this thing,
And you're dressed like a farmer.
and you're dressed like a farmer,
Right.
And then you walk into a place like this, and it's intimidating. So my suggestion to the bank, and I'll make it to you too, was to have the first office as you walk through the door. That's Gladys. And Gladys is in there chain smoking.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like Miller lights on the floor rolling out of the door.
The old pony bottles,
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right? You're like, where'd you even get those?
And she's like, "What are you here for?" and they're like, "Oh shit, I can talk to you, Gladys, right?" Yeah, get in here, kid. What's up?
There's some cardboard and stray newspapers from where Gladys was sleeping.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Exactly.
Gladys
Yeah,
is
for
like,
the day.
"Oh, the attorney assholes in the back, yeah."
Right. Well, that would make it a lot more comfortable when you come in, you'd think.
That's
that
right.
what you're saying?
Gladys can soften it, you know?
There's probably a middle ground somewhere in there. There's
Probably.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But you get what
I
I'm
do
saying.
like Gladys, though.
Yeah.
I think Gladys should become a character on the podcast. Gladys comes in every once in a while, and it's like, just Sam.
Gladys, how's it going in accounting land out there? She's, just someone
fantastic.
who walks through the door wants to see someone that looks like them, and they
Yeah.
often don't. And they're in these. It looks expensive. It looks intimidating.
wearing the headset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
right,
God.
right.
And then you get in there, and so that's just my suggestion. Someone to soften the
I like that.
entrance. All right, Jared. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. This
Yeah.
has been fun.
Yeah, of course.
Too much fun.
Of course, it's been
It's
fun.
been great fun.
It's always fun.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, Lance.